Okay, so we released the 2025 Blue Report on Monday, and there was a little bit of confusion about what the information in the report meant and how we collected it. So here's how Cleanbill collects its information. This might be a bit of a longer one, but I want to make sure I cover everything, so bear with me. We're going to use GPs as an example here, but the collection processes are pretty similar for our other specialties too. As the Blue Report says, the aim of our directory is to show you what every single GP clinic around you would say if you, as a non-concession adult, called them up and asked for their pricing information. Staying true to this, we collect our data in exactly the same way that any adult would, just on a bit of a bigger scale. The first step is research. It's very difficult to even find an authoritative number for how many GP clinics there are in Australia, let alone where those clinics are located. So we have to assemble our list from scratch. Our researchers work in tandem with data gathering and management software to find everything in Australia that might be a GP clinic. They also find out everything they can online about these clinics, including, where available, pricing information. When they're done, we combine this list with last year's list to include any clinics they might have missed, and that's the research stage. We now have a list, but it includes things that maybe aren't GP clinics, and it doesn't have pricing or availability information for every single clinic. So we do the second thing that any adult would do, and what the health minister has recommended people do. We ring them all. Our callers are tasked with calling overlapping lists of clinics to determine three things. 1, is this a currently operating GP clinic? 2, if it is, does it currently bulk bill adult patients? And 3, if it doesn't, how much is a standard and a long consultation with the GPs at this clinic? Our callers record their findings, and then our data managers step in. They compare the information received from our callers with the information provided on a clinic's website, the information we have for that clinic in previous years, and the information provided by other callers. If our data managers can't confirm information one of our callers has provided for a clinic, they send them out to be called again and again and again until we get consistent information for every single clinic. This usually takes around 2 months, and with disconnected numbers, non-GP clinics, and repeat calls, this usually involves making a couple thousand more calls than the number of GP clinics we ultimately list. But when it's done, our data managers can do a final check, and then we have a final list. This list provides a point-in-time assessment of the price and availability of every GP clinic we've been able to find nationally. It's this list that we then upload as individual listings to our directory and analyze for the Blue Report. In this year's collection, we uploaded information for 6,938 GP clinics and reported on 6,925 of them in the Blue Report. And that's it. That's how we take the process of research and calling that Australians would usually have to do themselves and scale it up so they can just search it on a directory instead. We aim to update our database once a year, which is why the Blue Report comes out yearly. But we of course recognize that some clinics will change their information in between our collection time, which is why every single listing on our directory has a link to a form which lets you request a change to that listing's information. So there you have it. That's the process behind our Blue Report, and that's how Cleanbill collects its information.